Hi all from Marzocchi, Italy. Today I'm gonna show you how to service the brand new STA cartridge for model year 2012. This cartridge is basically made by two units. In the bottom we have the air unit, and in the top of the cartridge we have the travel adjust unit. We will start showing you how to service the air unit. Down here you can see all the tools necessary to service the cartridge. We have a screwdriver, a 4mm Allen key, a 15mm fork wrench, a pin wrench, and all these other tools are service tools, obviously available on our website. We will start checking. We are speaking about an air cartridge, so that the first important thing is to check if we have air pressurized inside the cartridge. So first of all, we take out all the air from the cartridge. This is very important, most of all for safety reason. So be sure to take out all the air from the cartridge. After that, we need to screw out this race. In order to screw out this race, we have to use this particular pin wrench. We need to, with these vice guides, we need to lock the bushing which is located inside the tube in order to avoid that all the units start turning. So we put the vice in this way at the very close to the end of the tube, and we go in the vice, locking the tube. In this way we can unscrew the race. Here we go. After that, we need to move down the air unit inside the tube. As you can see, we have a steel wire inside the tube. With the screwdriver, with a very slight movement, we need to take out this stop wire. And now we just have to pull to disassemble the air unit from the rest of the cartridge. Be fast doing this operation in order to avoid to lock the air seal in the groove of the circlip. This way. This is basically the air unit. We have a bottom-out bumper. We have the foam ring to lubricate the inner tube. We have the air seal. We have the segment ring. We have the negative spring, the top-out bumper, and the bottom bushing, the ones to lock all the unit in the tube. So basically, service this unit means to clean everything and to re-grease all the parts with this special grease, which is Kluber grease. It's a very high performing grease, and this is what we use always for every kind of air seal we have in our systems. Another very important product we are using for this cartridge, to service this cartridge, is the oil. The oil used, beside the brand, which is not important, the oil used is a transmission oil, so the viscosity of the oil, as you can see, is very high. This is very important in order to have a oil with a high viscosity and a very high lubricating power. The parts we normally changed after some usage are all the rubber parts, mainly the air seal, but also the foam ring, the bottom out bumper, the top out bumper, I mean all the parts that can be damaged during the usage of the cartridge. These parts, all these parts will be available as a service kit, so that our technicians will have the chance to rebuild completely the cartridge as a brand new product. In order to change the parts, I'm gonna clean a little bit in order to see much better the system. This is the bottom out bumper, which is very easy to remove. This is the foam ring, and this is the air seal. Removing, this is the segment, very easy to remove. The air seal, the squeeze of the air seal is a little bit higher than all the other rubber parts, so that we have to be careful to avoid to damage the seal housing with the screwdriver. The best way to remove the air seal is to push in this way the air seal in order to have the chance to go inside the air seal, removing from its groove. Regarding the bottom side, we need to remove the bottom end of the cartridge in order to change these rubber parts and to replace with a new one. This vice gauge is very smart because it has the chance to grab the shaft, the body, and the travel adjust unit. So now we are going to lock the shaft in the vise. Be careful to not stay in this side, because inside we have the thread, and we need to stay under the thread. With the fork wrench, 15mm fork wrench, we need to unscrew the lower end of the cartridge. In some cases, it is necessary to use a heat gun. In event of the necessity to use the heat gun, try to use the less heat as possible in order to avoid to damage O-rings and air valve. I'm normally used to heat the part, and in the meantime I start pulling with the key, and as soon as the key starts turning, I stop with the heat, which is the best way to unscrew the parts locked by thread lockers. Okay. Now we can pull out the bushing and we can replace the rubber top-out bumper in the bushing. Obviously we will do the same with the top-out bumper. I mean, we take out everything. Going back with assembling, we clean very well this area. It's better to use a cleaner, a brake cleaner, and then we can put on the thread. We have to clean both parts, and we can put on the thread a medium thread locker, and then we screw on again the part on the shaft. As always, the best way to lock the part is to use a torque wrench, which is not very common, but it's the best way to lock the parts in the proper way. I mean, the tightening torque is 6 Newton meter. Going up with the service, we need now to replace the new seal. In order to put in position the air seal, we need to use this air seal introducer. So we can grease the introducer with our Kluber-Sin grease, and obviously grease the seal. We can push the seal on the introducer, and then we move the seal in position. In the other groove we will place the foam ring. Foam ring must be soaked with this kind of oil because it's very thick and perfect to keep the tube lubricated. As soon as we have replaced all the rubber and seal parts, we will put grease on all the parts, the moving parts. In this way, now it's very good, even the spring and the top-out rubber. Honestly, I'm used to lubricating also the inner side of the tube this way. This is the second introducer to fit the air unit inside the tube. As you can see, we have two sides, one with a step and one with a very long taper. Obviously, the step must be inserted in the tube, and the taper helps the air seal to go inside the tube. We keep the introducer in position and we push the air shaft inside the tube. We keep on pushing because the air is now pressed inside the tube. So in the meantime we are pushing, we need to push the air valve in order to keep the air unit inside the tube. Now we move down the lower bushing. We place once again in position the stop wire. This is very important operation. So for the safety, for your safety and for the rider's safety, we need to be sure that the stop ring is exactly in the groove. And then manually we pull up the air unit in order to lock the ring in position. Now we can inflate the cartridge. For my convenience, I'm going to use pressurized air, but obviously you can, in order to speed up the process, but you can obviously use a manual air pump. We check again. Okay. Now the cartridge is pressurized. We just need to grab the end of the tube and we can fit again the race in order to lock the unit in position. Once again, we take the pin wrench. We don't need to lock very much because the retaining function is made by the wire. This race is just to avoid that the bushing goes inside the tube during the working of the cartridge. Okay, air unit checked. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to bleed, how to service the travel adjust unit. In order to understand better how the system works, I will show you the system disassembled from the tube. Basically, the system is working based on an oil transfer between two chambers. One chamber is inside this tube, and one chamber is the room between this tube, the main body of the travel adjust, and the tube we have outside. So that the oil is moved from this area to the room inside the body of the travel adjust. That's why we have a compensator piston moving here. So when the system is up in this position, the oil is inside the body of the travel adjust. When the system goes down, the oil is encapsulated in this room, and the compensator piston is up, because the compensator piston, powered by the same air pressure we are using for the air unit, is pushing the oil in this room through this hole. So this is the tool to move the compensator piston. So what we need to do when we have our cartridge in the hand is to insert the tool in the tube and screw the tool in the compensator piston until the thread is finished, in this way. Then we need to lock the cartridge in the vise, because we need to unscrew one of these two screw. As you can see, we have two screws. We just need to unscrew this one, which is the bleeding hole. So I go ahead. So we put in the vise the cartridge and we unscrew the bleeding screw. Okay. Another important operation we need to do is to set the needle of the travel adjust in the middle between the two positions we have in the adjuster. I'm going to show you what I mean. As you can see, we have two positions. In order to bleed perfectly the system, we need to put the adjuster in the middle of the two positions, just in the middle. Then we remove the cap and we fit our syringe with the bleeding adapter in the hole. Syringe must be filled with 10-12 cc of oil in order to leave some space to let the syringe move when we will move the compensator piston. So tight the bleeding adapter in the top cap, and then since the needle is in the middle, we have the chance to move the system. As you can see, some air is going inside the syringe. So we keep on moving the travel adjust system up and down, and also the compensator piston up and down. This in order to move the oil inside the circuit and to be sure that the oil is so we keep on moving 2-3 times the system. In order to be sure that all the air is out of the travel adjust unit. Once we are sure that all the air is out of the system, we need to keep the travel adjust unit in extended position with your hand, and we need to be sure that the compensator piston is completely pulled down. Now we have a little bit of vacuum state because of the syringe, so we just need to keep pulling down the compensator shaft, and we push a little bit on the syringe in order to avoid that the system comes back. So, travel adjust unit in extended position and compensator piston completely pulled down. Now we can screw out our tool, and also the syringe can be taken out. Don't worry if some oil is coming out, this is good. Now we can be sure that all the screw housing is full of oil, like now, and we can we can fit the screw back in its position. As soon as the screw is in position, we need to take our vice guides. We go in the vice, and we use a torque wrench with the 5 Newton meter setting. We check also the screw. Okay. And now we put back in the open position the adjuster. Now the system is completely bleeded and is working at its best. This procedure must be done when we see that the travel adjust using is losing some travel. I mean, when I turn on the travel adjust and I push down the system must stay in bottom position. Later I show you like that. If the system is staying in this position, or in this position, this means we have some air inside the travel adjust unit. So that we need to service as I show you. Now we check once again. Okay. Now we take our air system we serviced before. We put everything as I showed you before in the cartridge, and keeping the air unit in position. Okay, we fit again the circlip. This procedure, as I told you, is very, very important for the functioning of the cartridge, but most of all for the safety, for your safety and the safety of the rider. As you can see, the circlip is perfectly in position. Now we just need to pull out the air system, and before to lock the race in position, we need to inflate with some air pressure in order to be sure that the bushing is completely out of the, against the circlip. So air pressure is in the cartridge. With the vice gauge we keep the bushing and the tube locked. We fit the race in its thread and we just lock until the bottom of the thread. Not very much, just to lock. Now we can check if the travel adjust system is working properly. So we keep the cartridge from the bottom, like that. And we try the travel adjust system. Lock position, shorter position. That's it. It's completely bleeded. We don't have any room here, and this means the system is completely bleeded without any air. When we move the cap, the system is going back in position. That's it. Bye bye.